It's Matthew Culbertson here. I'm a Satsu 5, and so last week we released our thoughts on the Karambit, and we also shared our thoughts with Sparring. We didn't get to really upload any footage, but after that footage was released, I got a call from Lynn Thompson, and he was critiquing our thoughts, which were very, very good critiques. And me and Austin, I had to come out to the yard today, and I had to follow Lynn's advice when it comes to something that's the size of this Tanto, which I don't have a Voyager trainer, so this is my Vaquero trainer, even though it's not a Vaquero. And Lynn, he was looking at my thoughts, and he says that the Karambit in reverse grip, you're way exposed on top, you're way exposed on the sides, and you're also really exposed in the elbow forearm area. And he also talked about how if you get a slash with the Karambit, although you know there's certain places where you can get a slash where it's really, 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 really bad, but if you could position your body correctly, and you never want to take shots, but he said the stab from the Tanto is going to be way worse and have way more stopping power than a superficial slash from a Karambit. That would have been a bad slash, but obviously it would have killed me. I could deal with this, and then I could you know, wrap myself up with a tourniquet or you know, a bandage and get some things under control. And so I had to come out and implement it. And I think the best thing about the Karambit is that me and Austin were used to sparring with gloves. We're not used to the face mask, and so all of our time when we've sparred in the past, what we've been doing is we've been targeting the hands and the forearms, which is something that you want to do in defending the snake. We would get stabs every once in a while, but we would never get close. We wear eye protection, okay, but we would never go for the head, okay, because we're smart, and we want to keep our eyes. We don't want to take out our eyes with these trainers. And so using the HEMA helmet, and also it just gives you an opportunity to be a lot more bold. But unfortunately, I've carried a lot of my mistakes with just sparring with gloves over to my HEMA stuff. And the really cool thing about using this Karambit is that it's forced me to become bold, to get in and then get something good, okay? When me and Austin, a lot of times when we're going with the buoys and the kukris, we're at a long distance and we're going for each other's hands and forearms, because if you take that hand off or that forearm off, they're no longer a problem, okay? And so the really cool thing about the Karambit is that it forced me to get bold. And so I took what Lynn told me, and I took the boldness that I learned from the Karambit, and I had Austin really help me out. He volunteered for this, and I would change up my stance a little bit. I would go for his hand, but rather than going for my hand way out here, okay, Austin, what would happen if I came out the hand like this? Well, a lot of times Austin, he'd get bold, and he'd get my forearm, he'd get my bicep, and he'd get my pec when we're really going after it, okay? And so what I did is I changed up my stance, and I changed here, okay? And I'd go for his hand, I'd go for the elbow exposed. I got a good lot of shots on the hands, as you're going to see in the footage. But also when Austin got bold, what I did is I rose up my forearm and I stabbed him, okay? And yeah, a lot of times he'd get my forearm, sometimes he wouldn't, but I'd get that stab to the chest. And when you get that stab to the chest, yeah, you know, he could be walking around for a little bit more. You need to be able to back away, maybe deliver some follow-up, but that's going to be the thing that puts people down, all right? And this is according to Lynn Thompson. So thanks, Lynn, for the critiques. You're going to see the raw sparring footage, but I gotta say that if it wasn't for this Karambit, it wouldn't force me to get bold. And so I'm thankful for the Karambit. I'm thankful for Lynn's comments, but carry over the boldness that you're getting from the Karambit and use it for your shorter blades like your Vaqueros and your Tantos. Change up your stance a little bit, look for openings, and yeah, he could still get me in my stomach, okay? I might have to bend down, okay, but if I can get that superficial shot, I can trade it for a deadly shot from him, and that's going to be something that's really valuable.
All right, so this is something I've noticed.
A lot of times when I spar against Matthew, I'm actively chasing him around our, let's just call it an arena. And I've mentioned to Matthew in the past, like, hey, if you're with someone, if you're with your wife, you can't really afford to be chased. You have to be the pursuer. And after, I think it's a combination between the Karambit and the HEMA mask, because the HEMA mask does change things in your sparring and in your practice. He's no longer, taking 10 steps back. We're actually engaging each other equally on a more regular basis. So, Matthew's mentioned in the past that I'm more bold, I'm the more initiator, and since we started practicing with the Karambit and have the HEMA mask, my brother is more actively engaging me instead of waiting for me to do something and then reacting to it. Also, something that we both started doing with this more close end, not really fencing, we're using our off hands a lot more. I think we're just punching each other's gloves. Nice thing about this one, it's not so bad to get stabbed with. I got your neck at least once. Didn't really. You need a rest? One more round.